don't I also start recording this right now since we're going to start talking about some important stuff. So here's what's going to happen as far as going plant-based and making it as easy as possible. So Phatburn usually has 6 meals which rotate every single week on our menu, and Danielle would like the pamphlet. And what we're going to do is we're going to offer at least 3 or 4 of those plant-based meals on the weekly rotation. So instead of having our 6 normal meals, 3 or 4 of them are going to be challenge approved because they're going to be plant-based. So the pamphlet that you're going to be getting is going to have about 12 recipes in it already. So the first week we'll have recipes from that and broken down by level. And then we are going to just be using recipes right from the Game Changers website for weeks 2, 3, and 4. Okay? So when it comes to protein, I'm going to address that in the orientation, and I also address it in the pamphlet. But what I am doing in order to, Monica, I see your thing popping up. Are you with us?
Yes, I'm here. I can hear you right now.
Monica is here. So, great. Monica, if you hit the video icon as well, we can see you. Since you're doing a lot of talking, that would be really cool.
There I am.
Okay, great. So it works. You can hear me, right?
Yes, I can hear.
So I'll come back to what I was saying later, guys, at the end. Let's get into the guest of honor here. So Monika Popovicova, I have to say that slow so I pronounce it right. No? Monika P. Has been eating plant-based for a while. We did a podcast, actually the second podcast that Phatburn ever had. If you want a really extensive background on her, you can go check that out. But I'm going to start off with some easy questions for you, Monika. We'll go into the questions that people posted on the Facebook group, and then we have a handful of people on now that can also ask questions live in the chat. So if those are coming through, I'll tell you what they are. Okay?
Awesome. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
I'll give you a chance to go ahead and introduce yourself as well if there's anything you'd like to say. And thank you for doing it.
Thank you so much, guys, for inviting me into this webinar. I'm very, very happy and honored that I actually now, after years of my experience with, try and error eating plant-based and bringing it to where I am today, I can actually share some of my experiences and knowledge and hopefully be helpful. And I'm very happy that you guys are interested in this because you're doing this not only for yourself, but for the whole planet and for animals. So this is awesome. I hope it works for you.
So Monika has been a Phatburn member for what, maybe about 2 years?
Yeah, I would say a little bit over 2 years. I remember I joined shortly before Christmas 2 years ago, so that this would be 2 years and some change. Mm-hmm.
And she drives almost an hour to be here, which I think is insane, but shows her dedication, and she's in phenomenal shape. So, Monika, would you consider yourself to be a vegan or a vegetarian?
Definitely vegan, although nowadays I more like to use better organic, whole food, plant-based eater. Or it's more of a lifestyle. It's been always evolving. So I don't know if I should place myself. When I go to a restaurant, I say I'm vegan because it just describes under one word that I don't eat any animal products, no dairy, no eggs, no meat, no supplements that contain any animal products, no cosmetics or household care that would cross paths with animal anything. So that would be, yeah.
Okay, so you are vegan when it comes to eating out at restaurants, and you are a vegan, but what was the hesitation there where you say you wouldn't be maybe full on?
Because nowadays you have so many vegan or products and food, processed foods even, that are labeled vegan, but they're not necessarily healthy and made from whole food ingredients and whole foods, yeah. So let's say Oreo cookies are vegan, but are they healthy? Are they whole food? No, it's processed food full of sugar, and it's bad for you. So yeah, so I rather like to say organic, plant-based whole foods. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So when you started, how long has it been since you've been eating this way?
So it's been a very long, always evolving journey. So now the way I eat now, it's been a little bit over 3 years. But before that, it's been a long process when I stopped eating red meat. I've been kind of vegetarian on and off growing up since I was a child, but because when I was little, I wasn't always in charge of what I was or what I had to eat. That's what was available at the time. So I was mostly, it was like always a battle between me and my parents and the pediatrician that I have to eat meat and I have to do this and that against my will. So when I got old enough, I could be more in charge of what I was putting in my body and how I was treating my health and the food I was eating. And I was vegetarian. Then I came here, I started eating meat again, quite regularly, and exploring other foods that the United States had to offer, because originally I'm from Czech Republic, and I've been here a little bit over 11, maybe 12 years now, I don't even know. And so then when I was eating the standard American diet, and that included a lot of animal-based products and meat, my health definitely worsened in terms that my immune system wasn't working normally. I gained a lot of weight because I was just trying everything. You know, there's so many things that I've never even heard of before. And I just ate everything. And as I was making friends and we were going to eat out, I just went along with, you know, what the world had to offer. And the result was that I gained about 40 pounds of bad weight, and I was constantly sick, you know, with like regular colds and sore throats and allergies, and new allergies started popping up, like peanut allergy and dairy allergy and gluten intolerance and all stuff like that I've never had before. So I knew something had to change, and I knew going like the conventional medicine route wasn't an option because that wasn't helping. Just things were coming back and things were getting worse. So I finally contacted a naturopathic doctor here in the area where I live now, up in Connecticut, in New Fairfield. And she looked at me, and I had this like crazy rash all over my face. And she said, that's definitely dairy. So if you stop eating dairy products, I bet it clears up. So that was the first step, and that was maybe now 7 years ago. So I stopped eating dairy, and I saw the miracle of my skin clearing up. I wasn't getting coughs that much because, you know, dairy products tend to produce a lot of mucus, and it's not necessarily the best thing for adult humans to be ingesting. So I slowly started seeing changes, and then being into nutrition and herbalism and healthy lifestyle and more a holistic approach towards lifestyle in general. I've been always researching things and listening to podcasts and videos and following, you know, people that were definitely going that route and had some knowledge on it, reading books. So I decided to stop eating red meat. So red meats are beef, lamb, pork, venison, that's lamb, right? No, venison is deer. So all this stuff I stopped eating. So I was eating for quite a while only poultry and fish. So everything was like a slow transition and a pathway towards where I am today. So the whole thing took about 7 years to transition into where I am now.
So I'm glad to hear that, because I think a lot of people, and with this challenge especially, will feel like they have to go from black to white, where the first thing I'm going to do in the pamphlet is just explain vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, lacto-ovo, because people have varying levels of way that they can ease into it and not necessarily have to go from 0 to 100 like in a straight line, right?
Exactly. It's a personal journey. And again, we have to remember that these are eating habits, and habits are learned behavior, and almost on the borderline of addiction. You know, if you have any bad habits, you label that as an addiction. So, and for dairy, for example, and sugar as well, that definitely these foods are highly addictive, because dairy containing casein, which is a hormone that acts for little babies, for animal or mammals, small mammals, nursing on mother's milk. The casein produces the hormone that calms them down, which we still eat it whether we eat cheese or butter or have a little cream in our coffee. We still put that in our body. That's why a lot of people tell me, oh yeah, I would go plant-based, but I can't give up cheese and dairy. I just need cream in my coffee and all that. You have to know that fact that it's addictive, and while you know that, I think that's much easier to deal with that and possibly break that. And nowadays we have so many wonderful options that are plant-based. Like I discovered this amazing oat milk. I think it's a Swedish brand, Oatly, and
drink oat milk too. I love it.
It's amazing. It tastes better. Even my boyfriend, who was the typical guy, cookie and glass of milk in the evening after dinner, just loves oat milk now and doesn't even think twice that milk has ever existed before. So yeah, there's so many options.
Cold brew coffee with oat milk infused in it already, which is delicious.
It is, absolutely, I agree. And yogurts as well. To mention a few brands, I don't know if you like, whoever likes coconut, there's a brand called Koyo, Coyo, that's very creamy and rich. So you have that rich consistency, and it's very smooth and delicious. Or almond yogurt, Kite Hill. It's also very great. It's a great substitute to any yogurt, and it has all the probiotics and everything in it.
I'm gonna, because you were talking about some of the health benefits, I think that was along one of the lines that Jill Clark asked on the Facebook group, and I know you answered it there, but let's ask it here and just discuss it again. Okay, so Joe Clark wrote, "Hi Monica, looking forward to it. Do you take any supplements, especially to control bloat or gas?"
Yes. So I do take several supplements, and there are actually two supplements that are absolutely necessary if you are eating plant-based, because those two vitamins aren't easy to get from plant-based diet. So that would be vitamin D3 and B12. I actually have a couple of products here on my desk that I want to show you that work for me wonderfully, that I went through research and trying many things, and I settled on these couple products that I think are really wonderful. So it would be for B12, I have a spray bottle by Garden of Life, and where's the camera? Right here. So that's a spray bottle. You can get it in any health food store. I got it in Whole Foods, and that is methylcobalamin, which is the vegan version of the vitamin B12 that absorbs in your body, and this is 500 micrograms. And there are other ones would be dissolvable by Jarrow. You know, it's really easy to
chat too.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm writing them in the chat too as you're saying them.
Oh, great.
So people can see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So B12, so vitamin D are your go-to supplement.
And D3, I also buy a really nice plant-based brand. It's Pure Encapsulation. That would be this. And this is a B complex. It has all different kinds of all the B group vitamins, including vitamin B12 in 500 milligrams. And you only need, I believe, 2,000 micrograms, yes, 2,000 micrograms per week. So whether you take the 500 micrograms 4 times a week, or any other, this one has 1,000 micrograms, so you can take it twice a week. But the good thing about the B12 is that the B group vitamins are water soluble, so you cannot really overdose on those. Right. So that would be okay even if you need a little bit more.
Okay.
And yeah, so eating fortified foods, like drinking those like almond milk fortified with the B vitamins, with the B12, at least 2 or 3 times per day to get like 3 micrograms of B12 daily would be enough. Or as I said, 10 micrograms once per day, or what based on the 2,000 micrograms weekly. Then the vitamin D3, which I recommend having your vitamin D levels checked and adjusting accordingly to your personal needs. There's another pure encapsulation bottle with vitamin D3, and this one has 25 micrograms in 1 drop, and the recommended dose is 1 to 7 drops. So based on your personal needs, there's also the same of Garden of Life spray, that 1 spray under the tongue once a day just does the justice.
Cool.
And it tastes great. It's really easy to use, and I've never had any health issue, any symptoms. I just feel good. It's enough for me personally.
And then what about the preconception that people have, or that Jill is asking about bloating and gas when you're going to be eating so many vegetables all the time?
Yeah. That starting plant-based diet, that's definitely an issue that everyone will go through. When you watch all these documentaries about plant-based and listen to these videos, nobody really talks about it, but it's just a common fact that consuming suddenly such a large volume of fiber will cause bloating and gas, and that's normal, especially at the beginning. And I've been now, because I've been eating vegan or plant-based diet now for almost over 3 years, almost 4 years. I don't suffer from that much. I also know what foods trigger that more than others, so then I know how to manage, work around it. Like, for example, for me personally, green lentils are dead zone. Then I know red lentils are fine. So stuff like that. And also with the fiber, drinking a lot of water, proper hydration is the key here. It helps to break down the fiber easier, and it's just much easier on your digestion gas wise. But yeah, it's a normal thing, especially at the beginning. So if you have never tried plant-based and now you are in this challenge and you're gonna start eating plant-based and eating so much more vegetables and plant-based proteins, you're gonna be bloated. Your stomach will be bulging out a little bit, but just know that's normal. If it should be really, really painful, maybe look into certain protein powders, like pea protein might do that more than other protein powders. I personally love brown rice protein, hemp protein, or even I do use the Amazing Grass, Garden of Life, and Vega proteins, and they all have blend of all different kinds of proteins, including the pea protein. So maybe I won't put the full scoop in, and I'll do just a half, and then I will, for the 10 grams of protein, if I need 20 in the serving, and then I'll do 3 tablespoons of hemp seed, just the whole hemp, the shelled hemp seed. That's another 10 grams of protein, and it's just easier on my stomach. I know it's not gonna give me gas.
Do you use protein powder, vegan protein powder, as a staple in your diet also to supplement the protein? Is that something you depend on, or do you try to get it?
No, when I work out more and I want to build muscle, and it's also sometimes it's just quick and convenient to throw everything in the blender and whip up a smoothie and have it and go, so stuff I don't drink it regularly every day. But when I was really intensively going to fat burn and I was muscle building, I would have a smoothie like that every day. Yeah. So I did use the protein level.
Depending on how intense your workouts are, you're pretty much supplementing with that.
Exactly. And listening to your body, knowing, figuring out, it's a learning process. So you're going to know that, let's say, things that work for me might not necessarily be the best for you. You might do something else, but this is the general stuff that I discovered, and yeah.
So John is asking also under Jill's question. I don't know if you're going to know the answer to this one. I don't know if there is really, but maybe you do. Let's see. John says, I'm really intrigued with this challenge. I've always relied on egg whites, chicken breast, ground turkey, and fish as my protein source. I'm a home cook. Will buy a few Phatburn meals during the challenge, but I would like to know the best muscle building plant-based proteins.
Yeah. So what works for me is, well, plant-based proteins are wonderful. I use tempeh a lot because it's fermented soybean. It's healthier. And there's a big myth about soy. Obviously, moderations and healthy balance. So I'm not gonna eat it like 3 times a day, right? Maybe I'll have it in one meal. Tempeh. Then I do legumes, and I'll throw in the protein shake. And what else do I? Sometimes I even buy those Beyond Meat, things, and which are processed, and they're not the healthiest and best, but I'm still human. I still eat stuff like that occasionally.
Sure.
And I also do Seitan, Seitan is, I know we talked about it in the podcast, and you were making fun of me because I misspelled it actually back then. I spelled it as a Satan, but it's not how it's spelled. But that's a great source of protein as well.
How is it spelled? I want to pop that in the chat too.
Wait, let me write it down so I don't mess it up. So it's Seitan.
Seitan. Got it.
Yeah.
So I know tempeh has more protein, or is more protein dense than tofu, right? Like you have to eat more tofu to get the amount of grams of protein that you would if you were having tempeh. Do you know how does Seitan play into that? Is that even more protein rich, or maybe you don't know? I would have to look that up.
I would look it up. I don't remember what the label says right now at this moment. So we will have to look into that. But yeah, there will be amount of serving that will give you certain grams of protein. So you'll just adjust that amount to that, I think. But yeah, I don't really like overly eat a large amount, and I'm also a woman, so for me it's so different than for a man, the intake of protein. But the beauty about eating plant-based protein is that it's so much easier on your digestion, and it breaks down and digests so much better than meat protein. It doesn't overload your liver and kidney the way meat does. So yeah, even eating larger amounts of plant-based protein is definitely still better than eating meat.
When you started down this journey, did you even worry about that, or was that not even a consideration?
No, I actually didn't worry about that at all. But I definitely wasn't eating enough protein, like really way, way below what I should have been eating. And I noticed I got really skinny. So you will lose weight for sure. Now the key is to maintain healthy muscle mass, right? So the balance, and that's when I came actually to you, Paul, and you told me, the levels of carbs in comparison, like to the protein and the fat, that gave me the whole picture of what I should be doing, and that was 2 years ago, and ever since I've been self-educating on this subject in the plant-based field. So it's been working for me really, really great, and I do a lot of physical activity. I work out, I hike, I ski, I bike, occasionally horseback ride. I got into ballroom dancing, so I'm constantly on my feet doing something, and maintain my muscle. I think.
Cool. So I think the only thing missing when it comes to building muscle and plant-based, if anything, is that there are some essential amino acids in meat, right, that you don't get from just eating plant-based. So I think you may have to supplement with those as well, if I'm not mistaken. But there's argues for and against all that kind of stuff too. So
right. Amino. There's one thing about building muscle and the aminos. There's one supplement I do actually take that I actually wanted to show you, and I have it here ready, and that's the branched chain amino acids.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. So if you're taking BCAAs and you are actually even using creatine maybe, and then you're supplementing with vegan protein powder and eating plant-based, that is what I'm doing this challenge. So like I'm gonna go completely plant-based, but I am going to have a vegan protein shake every day. I'm going to take protein, and I'm going to see if I can build muscle.
And then the clean BCAAs. Yeah, and I like this brand. It's called Clean Machine. It has electrolytes and the branched chain amino acids. And yeah, so I would have it either before or after the workout, and it definitely helps to ease the muscle repair and the building of the muscle. Another supplement I've been taking for muscle building, for not only for that, but in general, that I find just wonderful, is Chlorella. And this is my favorite brand, Chlorella Sun. And so it's a freshwater algae. It has active B12 vitamin, but what Chlorella actually is, the freshwater algae, it's chlorophyll, and that not only brings oxygen into your blood, it helps to repair broken cells, it helps to build healthy new cells, and also detoxifies your body from heavy metals, toxins, and dead cells. And so because it's actually strong detoxifying agent, and it's plants only, there's nothing added to it. So I would start on it slowly, like start on 1 or 2 tablets and gradually build it up. I'm on 15 a day. It gives me great energy, clarity, and stamina, and it detoxifies my body really, really well. Yeah, so I recommend that.
So it's
not only for muscle building.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I was going to say that I recommend that not only for muscle building, but also for people that, let's say, have been suffering with some major illness that needs that cell repair. Because
it seems like your go-tos that you definitely need are the B12 and the vitamin D, right? You're using your protein powders and your BCAAs sparingly according to how intense your workout is, and then you're also throwing the Chlorella in there.
Yes. To complete that answer for the bloating question, I do have one herb here that I've been taking daily, and it's not only for that, it's a holy basil. I need to find that camera again. So holy basil holy basil leaf.
That fights off the Seitan. That now you got it handled.
Oh, that's it compensates for the Seitan. And holy basil, it's a great adaptogen. It works well for a healthy response for stress of any kind. It's really good for digestion. So it's also for the bloating and anti-inflammatory. So I think that's been also working miracles because I've been taking holy basil along with ashwagandha root. Yeah, those are both Ayurvedic herbs that have been around for thousands of years BC. I think the holy basil has been noted like 1,000 years BC, and the ashwagandha 4,000 years BC. They've been around forever, and they've been used for good immune support, anti-inflammatory, cognitive function, and brain function. And I love these herbs. They really do what they're supposed to do.
It's awesome stuff. This is great stuff. Thank you for sharing all this. This is 7 years of research, condensed down into a half hour for you guys. So really appreciate you doing that. So then let's just kind of end it off on this question. For a lot of people doing this challenge, this is going to be their first foray into attempting plant-based, right? So before going out and buying holy basil and all this stuff and like thinking they have to do it like the whole way, what would you recommend is a nice like starter plan for somebody to do come Monday when they start this challenge?
Yeah, complicated question.
Yeah.
Well, I actually way simpler than we tend to think. Just eating lots of varieties of fresh vegetables and fruits. Perhaps choose fruits that are lower in sugar, because sugar, that's another story. We could talk about that for another hour, having that amount of protein, plant-based protein in your diet, and like I could give you a couple of examples what I eat.
Sure, that'd be great.
To describe my day, or give a couple like breakfast options what I would have. I do overnight oats. with brown rice protein powder mixed in it with either almond milk or oat milk and grated or pear. And I'll let it sit overnight, add some cinnamon to it. And I don't use sugar. I would use either monk fruit. That would be now like the latest sweetener I would use, or a little bit of vanilla. I don't even, after a while of not using sugar, you find out you don't really need it that much, and rather enjoy the flavors of the foods themselves. Like if I grate apple in it on like a large grater, that's just sweet enough. So that topped with some fresh berries like blueberries. That would be one example for breakfast. Another, I'll do organic tofu scrambled using nutritional yeast, turmeric, and some other spices of your choice. Maybe a little bit of dried garlic and so yeah, so that would be tofu scrambled with spinach and fresh cut tomatoes. Or I'll do like a vegan plant-based breakfast burrito with some spiced up sauteed chickpeas for the protein, and some sauteed veggies with you can throw some onion, squash, and you can do vegan cheese and make a burrito. It's a great breakfast option as well. For protein
makes it a little cheesy too sometimes, right?
Yeah, it's delicious. Those are all great options. So I'll have the smoothie for breakfast sometimes as well. Then lunch, example of that could be, what did I have today? I wrote it down actually. I had a vegan Reuben sandwich, that I make with avocado, tomatoes, sauerkraut, and sauteed onions, and I do like a little bit of vegan spicy chipotle mayo on it, and I'll have a sandwich like that for lunch, or red lentil soup, or tempeh. I have a great recipe for tempeh meatballs, but it's not all recipes.
Put it on the menu.
Yeah, so many great options. You know, dinner dark leafy greens sauteed. I'm huge on dandelion greens and collard greens. It's a great source of iron and calcium. And speaking of calcium, because a lot of people think that calcium comes from dairy, which isn't true. A lot of people suffering from osteoporosis and bone loss actually, when they switch onto plant-based diet and do the right thing, the whole thing just fixes itself, and the bones can grow back. So the greatest source of plant-based source of calcium would be sesame seeds, broccoli, and dark leafy greens, including